officials, including the Prime Minister and Chrystia Freeland, speaking out today, making an announcement about the federal vaccine mandate. Let's listen.
So we are here this morning to announce the next steps of our plan to stop the propagation of COVID-19 and to ensure an economic rebound, solid rebound. Our government has committed in doing all that is necessary to help all Canadians to go through this crisis. We've made a lot of progress during the last 19 months. Scientists have accomplished incredible work to develop and fabricate vaccines against COVID-19.
To have enough doses of COVID-19 vaccines for every eligible Canadian to be fully vaccinated. And the vast majority of Canadians have stepped up and done the right thing. Around 89% of eligible Canadians have received one vaccine dose, and around 82% of eligible Canadians have received both. So please, if you haven't received your shots yet, please do so as soon as you can. And if you have any questions about the vaccines, please talk to your trusted healthcare provider. The evidence is absolutely clear that vaccines are safe. They prevent the spread of COVID-19. They significantly reduce the severity of cases. And most importantly, they save lives. They also allow our businesses and workplaces and schools to reopen and to stay open. Our absolutely strongest and most important economic policy continues to be a strong public health response, and that very much includes making sure all eligible Canadians get vaccinated. That is how we avoid further entirely preventable lockdowns. To fight COVID-19, our government has taken historically unprecedented action. We shut down our economy and we closed our borders. To support Canadians and Canadian businesses in this unprecedented fight, we have invested over $289 billion to provide income and business support. That is a lot of money, but it was absolutely the right thing to do. Now, we have a tool that will allow us to finish the fight against COVID, to keep our economy open, to keep our kids in school, and to let all Canadians get back to work. Vaccines. We absolutely must use this tool, and we will. So today, we are announcing 2 strong new mandatory vaccine measures. Let me start with the first. Federal public servants in the core public administration must be fully vaccinated by October 29th. This will apply to those who work in the federal government's various departments, the RCMP, Correctional Services of Canada, the Canada Border Services Agency, and many other offices and agencies. We are taking this step to protect those who work in the federal public service, their families, and their communities. This measure also protects everyone who does business with the public service, whether it is getting access to your benefits at a Service Canada office or safely traveling across our borders. Members of the public service who are not fully vaccinated or do not disclose their vaccination status by October 29th will be placed on administrative leave without pay as early as November 15th. Aujourd'hui, nous annonçons 2 nouvelles mesures de vaccination obligatoires. Premièrement, Les fonctionnaires fédéraux de l'administration publique centrale
public servants must be fully vaccinated by October 29th. Except for very few cases. These measures will apply to people working in the different ministries of the federal government, as well as the RCMP, Corrections Canada, the Canadian Border Agency, and other offices and organisms. We are taking this measure to protect all public federal employees, their families, and to ensure their security. Public servants who are not fully vaccinated or who do not divulge their vaccination status by October 29th will be placed on administrative unpaid leave as of 15th November.
Corporations and agencies to implement policies that mirror those we are announcing today. The Chief of Defense Staff will issue a directive mandating vaccination for the Canadian Armed Forces. And we are working with employers in federally regulated workplaces. Les sociétés et organismes d'État devront aussi mettre en place des politiques qui reflètent celles que nous annonçons aujourd'hui. Le chef d'état-major de la défense dira également
the Chief of Military Forces will also need vaccination to be mandatory for all members of the Canadian Armed Forces, and we collaborate with employers of other agencies at the federal level to make it so that vaccination is a priority. As the main employer in the country, we want to make sure that the Canadian government serves as an example by putting in place a vaccination policy which ensures the security of its people. Our government has been re-elected in order to implement this key initiative.
We also know that some parts of Canada are today facing a very difficult fourth wave of the virus. And there are sectors of the economy that continue to struggle. These responsible, practical, and tough actions we are announcing today will protect Canadians, prevent our healthcare systems from being overwhelmed, allow our children to continue to go to school, accelerate our economic recovery, and give businesses, including those in the hardest hit sectors, confidence that our strong economy is less vulnerable to COVID-19 related further lockdowns. Merci beaucoup. And let me now pass it over to the Prime Minister to talk about other measures that we're announcing today. Prime Minister.
Thank you, Chrystia. Comme Chrystia l'a dit, on a fait beaucoup de chemin.
As Chrystia said, we've made a lot of progress in our fight against COVID-19. With millions of people fully vaccinated, Canada is a world leader vaccination-wise. But our fight is not over. Since August, we've been working to put in place vaccination measures that are going to ensure your security as well as that of your family. These measures will also allow you to practice your favorite activities. Today, we're respecting two of our major commitments, mandatory vaccination for federal employees and mandatory vaccination for travelers.
What the mandatory vaccination that's in place immediately for federal employees will look like. The bottom line, proof of vaccination will be required by no later than the end of this month for all federal employees. And by mid-November, enforcement measures in place will make sure that everyone is vaccinated. This is about keeping people safe on the job and in their communities. And the same goes for the second commitment we made, mandatory vaccination on travel. By the end of October, everyone 12 or older on a plane or train within Canada should be fully vaccinated. There will be a short period where people who are in the process of getting vaccinated can show a negative COVID-19 test, but by the end of November, if you're 12 or older and want to fly or take the train, you'll have to be fully vaccinated, as will staff. Testing will no longer be an option before boarding. À la fin du mois d'octobre, toute personne âgée de 12 ans
At the end of
ou
October,
plus,
everyone
voyageur à
12
bord
and
d'un avion
older
ou d'un train
traveling
devrait
on board a
être
plane or a
entièrement
train
vacciné.
will have to be
Pendant
fully
une courte
vaccinated.
période, on va
For a
permettre aux
short
gens qui
period,
sont en
we will
processus de
allow people
vaccination
that are in
de
the
montrer
process
un
of being
résultat de
vaccinated
test de
to
dépistage
show
négatif.
a
Mais à la fin
negative
du
test
mois de
result.
novembre, vous devez
At the end of
être
November,
entièrement vacciné,
you
tout
must
comme
be
les
fully
membres du
vaccinated
personnel.
as
Et le test de dépistage
members
ne
of
sera plus une option.
personnel,
If
and
you've done the
testing
right
will
thing
not
and
be an
gotten
option.
vaccinated, you deserve the freedom to be safe from COVID-19, to have your kids safe from COVID, to get back to the things you love. And if you haven't gotten your shots yet but want to travel this winter, let's be clear. There will only be a few extremely narrow exceptions, like a valid medical condition. For the vast, vast majority of people, the rules are very simple. To travel, you've got to be vaccinated. These travel measures, along with mandatory vaccination for federal employees, are some of the strongest in the world. Because when it comes to keeping you and your family safe, when it comes to avoiding lockdowns for everyone, this is no time for half measures. Already, we're delivering on the first of our vaccine commitments, and in the weeks to come, we'll get the job done on a vaccine passport for international travel. We'll be there to foot the bill for provinces and territories that roll out proof of vaccination programs, and we'll introduce legislation to make it a criminal offense to threaten or harass healthcare workers.